Hello and welcome to the Mindset and Mindfulness podcast with me, your host, Sandy Powell.
Hello and welcome to today's episode. Today's guest is Estee Neoh. She's a young professional in the hotel business and building up her own coaching business on the side. Please welcome Estee.
Hi, Sandy.
So good to have you. I mean, we met about, I don't even know, like 4 months ago or something, but we never really had a chance to chat face to face.
I believe this is our first time, seeing each other online.
Yes, really talking with that, having a real back and forth. So I'm really, really happy to have you here. And ask
Thank you.
Questions.
Great to be here.
Can you tell us about what you do?
Yeah, I believe it's our first time seeing each other and knowing each other. So just a brief introduction about myself. I'm born and raised in Malaysia. So currently I'm based in Sydney, Australia. So I moved here 2 years ago. And basically when I was back in Malaysia, I actually started my career as a chef. So I attended culinary school and then did my internship in China back then. And so after my internship, I decided to dive specifically into pastry section. And then I took another year to learn pastries, especially the French pastries, those delicate ones. And so after that, I got myself a job in the culinary industry, working in hotels, fine dining restaurant, and also some celebrity chef central kitchen as well. But after a few years, about 6 years later, I decided to have a career change. The main trigger for me to move away from that pastry or culinary side of career is because I did hurt my back and I decided to work in the office environment. So and I was thinking about like what can I study further, which is related back to what I was doing, which is in the F&B industry. So I was thinking, oh, okay, hotel management is actually quite similar or related to F&B industry or related back to the kitchen. So when I was doing my online studies in Blue Mountains in Australia, because of COVID, I was not able to come over to Australia, so I did the studies online. So back then, I was introduced to this subject as a revenue management, and I decided to, to dive into this particular field in revenue management in the hotel business. So that's a brief introduction of myself.
So awesome. I didn't know you can make pastries. Now I'm so sad that you're so far away. I'm sure we would be, even better friends.
Yeah. And I used to do some home baking when I was back in Malaysia, and also when I first moved here to Australia, I did some home baking. But nowadays I'm a little bit busy too. Too many things to catch up on. So I've put the baking aside. But if I'm ever like craving for some desserts, I will bake it myself.
Wow, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's a nice little tidbit. See, I didn't know. That's amazing. I really like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow.
Not many people know this side of me when they first know me, and then it's a icebreaker for me to introduce myself this way for people that I first met.
Yes, no, it's so fun. I feel like it's such a fun little tidbit. Well, now more people will know, of course. But yes, so you just had a bit of a busy season in your work, right? Lots of people on vacation and stuff, so it was a bit more stressful.
And I'm glad that I'm glad that it's over right now. And we are going into almost the busy season of the hotel, means less work for me actually.
Right.
Yeah.
But I wanted to dive into like, what is it that helps you keep the balance, or keeps you grounded? Do you have like something to release stress? Do you have a hobby or sport, meet friends? I don't know. Like, what is something that helps you get through the
Yeah.
busy season and not lose your mind?
Well, it depends. Like if let's say I'm in the mood, I will do some baking. Obviously not these few months, but baking actually calms me down because the sound of the machine has those white noise actually like calms my brain. Like you just listen into that white noise of the mixer beating in the background. That one really calms me down. And having a dessert, of course, you can distress. Dessert, stress when spelled backwards is dessert, right? Is it? Yes, stress
Okay.
when spelled
So
backwards.
cool. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, of course.
and then nowadays I'll be preferring on going out more, like explore myself to nature. I realized that I don't actually do this often back in Malaysia, probably of the weather. It's quite hot and humid, but the weather here in Sydney, it's really good. Most of the time it's not that hot. Um, I realized I like hiking a lot, or even go for a walk because there's so many like scenic places that I could actually explore. And also I just moved here like 2 years back, so there's still a lot of places that I haven't like been to. So over the weekends, I will, if there's a good weather and I have time, I will go out for a walk or hike. And those breeze will actually calm me down, and touching the soil or the ground actually makes me connect with the nature. Yeah.
Right.
I guess
Right.
that's one of the way for me to de-stress as well.
Yes. Oh, for me too. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
my one, if I can, my number one thing to go out, even like take my
Yeah.
kids and like we're a bit cooped up, we're, emotions running high. Let's just go. Do you want to just go walk over, through the neighborhood for a minute, or, go
Yeah.
take go somewhere, go to the beach, go to the it's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely helps. And yes, it, just seeing the greenery, whatever. I mean, going
Yes,
out
that's
there,
right.
having the sun go, the change, it's just different. Besides, in here at home, right, I always see everything that I still need to do. And sometimes that's quite overwhelming as well.
Oh, yes, yes.
So
And
just
especially
taking,
when you work from home, right? Do you
yes,
work from home? Yeah.
yes,
Mm.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because
And I
you
also
don't
have
want
my
to,
daughter home.
just stay in one location all the time, and it's not good for the mental health.
Yes. Yes. No, I just found, like if there's too many distractions or like I'm just too busy and I just need to remove myself, I can be more present with her, right? If I
Yeah.
go outside and I don't see all the things that I still have to do, whether that
Yeah.
is, like cooking and cleaning and making the laundry, whatever it is, or my job, right? Like all the piles that I'm like, oh, I still have to do all these things. But if I just go
Yeah.
away, like I can actually relax and like really, connect with her
Yeah.
and just kind of take a moment to just kind of, okay, I'm out. I'm, don't have to focus on
Yes,
that
you
right
needed
now.
that.
So it's good.
I think everyone needed that.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Oh, but I don't know. Oh, it makes me so warm and fuzzy. Just the whole baking part. I think it's so cute. I love it. I love it. Oh, that's very nice. So you're also talking in your online presence, like you're also talking about, tackling low confidence or imposter syndrome. So I wanted to see what is maybe like a tip, like what helps you to go out there anyway, if you feel ever, like having low confidence, or maybe in the past, what has helped you overcome it? Is there like a tip or
I,
something to get started with for the listeners?
yeah, I think the biggest change that I have is when I first moved here to Sydney. I guess it's because it's in a different environment, and also probably the culture is the main contributing factor, I would say. Because back in Malaysia, you know you grew up there, and then you have all your friends that you grew up with. If you do something different, people will be like, why are you doing this? Like people will be a little bit judgy, and and probably also I'm afraid of what people think about me when I was back in Malaysia. And I grew up to be very I'm a really introverted person when I was young. It is as bad as when I was in secondary school. You know, we have our uniform. I I was so shy that I don't even dare to wear my uniform out to order a food in a food court. It's that bad. Yeah. I rather stay in the car to let my parents go and buy the food for me instead of going out there to, you know, to connect with the people out there to order my own food. Yeah, it was that bad. And it's also mainly because of I'm thinking like I look different compared to others when I'm wearing a uniform. And it's because I'm afraid of how people look at me, like how they judge me because of I'm wearing a different outfit compared to the others.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like having a
But
spotlight on you.
yeah, because like it's like because when you're wearing a uniform, it's very obvious that this girl is from this school because it's you have the school badge over here, in Malaysia. So people will recognize which school are you from, and I don't like that feeling of people knowing where I'm from, and she's from this school, and she's wearing a uniform, and just different from other people. I don't like that feeling of how people look at me, and I guess that changed when I moved over here to Sydney. I think the culture here is very different. It's more inclusive, I would say. People will be more open, I would say, to accept differences. And also when I first moved here, I literally don't know anyone. I moved here alone, and I don't have any friends here when I first moved here. So it feels like, I'm free to be myself. I can do anything that I want.
Right.
And so I took the opportunity to try things that I really wanted to do back in Malaysia, but I did not do. So one of it was dancing, pick up dancing. So I was so shy in Malaysia. I always envy people that dance, and especially those hip hop dancers and things like that. And then I was thinking like, now that I moved to a new country, nobody knows me. I should do something that I really wanted to try, you know. So I started attending dance classes. I was really shy in the beginning because, you know, in the dance studio, they have mirrors all over the place. And the dance instructor will make you look into the mirror, look into yourself. And yeah, that's how I, slowly built up that confidence.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so after a few class or session, I'm like, okay, getting more confident in terms of, proud of myself, of my body and my movements or everything. But slowly I wanted to be more confident in terms of speaking as well. So early this year, I decided to participate in this speakers boot camp. It was a 3 days intensive program. So in those 3 days, they will make you speak in front of a small group of people, and then try to make 6 minute speech. And I think that is a life changer for me as well. Other than presenting myself as a more confident person, but speaking more confidently as well.
Wow, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's so cool. I think we all had that. For me also looking back, I'm also more introvert, and I was also more, the shyest person around and stuff. And moving away also has opened it up for me too. Yes, be more myself. I could step more into it. I was also very, how can I say that? I was very in between the chairs in my family, you know, like I was always kind of in between, like the middle, the center, right? Like this one wasn't talking with this one, so I had to communicate, and you know, like if they had a problem here, then I had to facilitate. Like I was always kind of in between, and I felt like, I mean, looking back at this now, right? I feel like it was so much noise. I always had to deal with all the other problems that I never had to focus on myself, you know, like there was not much, I couldn't hear what I was thinking. I couldn't do what I wanted to do because there was always so much
There's
else.
so many people.
Yeah.
And you
So
try to accommodate each of their requests or their
right.
preference.
So then I moved to a different city also for a job, you know, and then eventually I moved to a different country as well, right? I'm originally from Germany.
Oh,
and then
okay.
came here to the United States where I'm now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt like kind of like you, I could almost shed, I could emerge as a new me. I could shed a few layers, and I could, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, what is me? Oh, hello, Sandy. Also good to meet you, you know, and I could try out different things without, you know, everybody kind of, yes. So I connect with you on that is what I wanted to go at.
Yeah, I
Pump
guess
myself a little.
moving to a new place really helps a lot, I believe, because it's a new place, nobody knows me. It's a good start to, you know, do something that you always wanted to do.
Yes. Well, you just kind of have to go out there, you know, and
Yeah,
build up that confidence, I guess. Yeah, because you just if you don't know anybody, I also came by myself, so my
yeah.
family, everybody is still at home in Germany, so it was just me, and yeah. Of course, you have to go out there and make new friends and find your
Yeah.
crowd, and I don't know, go to school, go have your job and things like that. So it's just, yeah. And you make it, you know, like I feel
Yeah.
like that's part of it too. Like knowing, like these days, like I don't mind moving so much anymore because I'm like, oh, I can make friends anywhere, you know? Like I've moved so many times now. I'm like, oh, that's cool. You know, I'm just gonna meet more other new exciting people. And like I have so many people that I've connected with that I'm still friends with, even, you know, back in Germany and back in DC, back everywhere. So it's really nice to have, you know, to go back and visit, and I can get to see this one and this person and just kind of have some people everywhere around the world. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
really
that's
cool.
right. And especially when you travel around, yeah, I mean, like when you travel around, if you stop by this country, you can, you know, catch up with these people that
Right.
you made friends with in the previous years, or yeah, I think
Yes.
that's really great.
Exactly. Yeah. We actually just been to Denmark, and I reconnected with someone I met over here, and she moved back to Denmark, and then we met up like 10 years later. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Yeah, it's really nice. It really opens up so many possibilities. So
Yeah.
I encourage anybody that has a dream of moving somewhere else, do it because it's fun. I mean, it seems really crazy at first, of course, right? I was nervous and so many things you want to figure out and try and plan for and stuff. But honestly, it's all working out, you know? It's always
Yeah.
just working out, falling into place somehow. You don't have to, you also don't have to know it all. I feel like, you know, like just kind of go with the flow. I know that's hard, especially as your young self. You want to control you want to know so many things, and it's good, you know, just it's a humbling lesson, I think, a calming lesson, right? That it will still go even if you don't know everything, and even, you know, yeah, when it's all
You
new.
always learn new things along the way, so
Yeah, and it helps you grow. It really makes you stronger or better for it.
yeah.
Oh. That's good. I like it. I don't know if we touched on imposter syndrome. Would you like to say anything about
Oh
that?
yeah, I think I
Is
missed
there?
out that one. Imposter syndrome. To be honest, I don't actually know the word before coming here. Like
Okay.
because back in you know, Malaysia or the Asian countries,
Mhm.
mental health is not such a big thing.
Okay.
And I
Is
don't even
something
know
that
what
is not talked about, or it's just not as apparent because people are more taking care of themselves?
like it's not a big thing. It's like, oh, everyone just, you know, strive through the process. You just have to bear with it.
Okay.
But after moving here, I think like it's create more awareness to me as a person as well. And knowing this word imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess it's always in my mind. It's just that I don't actually know the word imposter syndrome. Um, so basically it's like you're thinking that you are not good enough, or um you are, how do I put
Qualified
it?
enough. You don't know enough. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not good enough, or I'm still learning, or yeah, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also because I think when I was much younger, I think it's also relates back to my personality, being an introvert and thinking I'm always not enough. Like I'm still learning.
Mm.
I'm still young. And all these things will contribute back to, oh, I'm still young equals to I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Because in Malaysia, right, if you, let's say, if you are in a workplace, usually how they promote people is based on experience or age. But here it's totally different. Like being a manager back in Malaysia, you need to be at least like what, 40 years old to be a manager. But then here at 25, 22, 20 to 25, you are already a manager.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, okay, I need to be, for me back then, I will be like, oh, okay, I need to be 40 years old to be a manager or to be knowledgeable enough in my role. But here, actually, it's like you grow as you learn as you work along the way, right?
Right.
So growing up in Malaysia or in Asian countries, I would say like you always think that you are not enough because you are not at that age yet. You are not at the age of being a manager yet.
Right.
So it feels like, oh, you are still young, you don't know enough, which I think will bring back to that imposter syndrome mindset
Right.
of that. But coming here, I learned that not everyone knows everything. Right? You learn along the way. Even probably the elderlies or the bosses will not know everything as well. Not everyone knows everything. So yeah, I mean, as long as you learn along the way, and then next time when you do it the same thing, you'll be better at that.
Right. You picked up the
Oh,
lesson.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes,
Mm.
that's so important. That's so true. Because sometimes, yeah, I was growing up too, like, right, you respect your elderly, like they know so much more than you, right? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And these days, yeah, like it is really more opened up that, young
Mm.
people can also know, like they may have a specialty that they know more of. And I mean, honestly, you see that even with school children, right? Like when they come home and they're like, I know all the deserts in the world. And you're like, oh man, like, like I don't know those
Yeah.
anymore. Like I may have known those at some point, but these days,
Mhm.
like I don't need to know this anymore. So I don't know. So yes, you know more than me in this area. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, because you have different area of expertise. So yeah, you wouldn't know everything, right? Not everyone wouldn't know everything. So
Yes,
yeah, we just
yes.
need to, I guess, need to reinforce our own mindset in this sense that yeah, we are still learning, and yeah, it's okay.
Yes,
You
but
know, if,
like we're really continuously learning, right? Even at 50, at 70, but there's still things that we could learn, right? New things that we experience. Yeah.
yeah.
That, like I said, when I was growing up, like, yeah, it also seemed like, anybody beyond, I don't know, 40 or something, they know it. They know it all. Like, and, like I just don't until I get there
Mhm.
kind of thing. So I can relate to what you were saying, I think it was a bit of a mentality, right? Like,
Mhm.
back then
Yeah.
too, like not just in your culture. I think it's, yeah, for me a bit too. So that's so interesting though. I like that it has opened up, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Good for our kids, for other children
Yeah.
growing up
And I
now.
guess, yeah, and I guess if you want to, to know more about something, you will put in effort to learn about it. So yeah, that will then slowly reduce that feeling of imposter syndrome because you think that you are not good at it.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, sometimes it really just takes practice. I mean, whenever
Yeah.
you start something new, you feel like inadequate at it. I mean, that's why but you're starting it, like you really just got to remind yourself, like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I have to pick up the skills. I have to practice at it before I can feel, I mean, anybody, I don't know, any of the tennis world champions or whatever, right? They started
Yeah.
somewhere too. Or
Yeah.
basketball pros, they started, with practicing their hoops. Like it wasn't like from the get-go that they were like, whoa, I did it. Damn. Every time. No, they practiced 100 times, millions of times to do that
Yeah.
one shot. And now they got it. And I
And
think people
yes.
sometimes just forget about that. Like, because it's not visible to so many people, like how many hours you put in private, right? Like
Yeah.
how many times you practice that speech, that throw, whatever it is you're doing. So they just kind of see, oh my God, look at you. You're standing up there so confident and you're doing all this. And, I don't. I could never do something like this. When in fact, right, 5 minutes before, they may also were like, oh my God, I have to go on stage. Or like, I don't know if I'm up for this, right? Like, I've heard from so many people, even in higher stages, right? When you're like, oh my God, they've made it. They don't have this anymore, but they still feel it, right? Like they're still like, I still get nervous. I still have to calm my nerves. I still have to tell myself, things and face my fears. So it's really just something that sticks with us, and we just have to face it over and over and over, and it gets easier, right?
Yeah. I think because nowadays, like on social media and all, people have been like highlighting you know, their winning moments or their victory,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not much of people highlighting their practice or their behind the scene.
Right.
So it's like, so we always think that, oh, they are born this way. They are born to be successful, or they're born to gain those victories, right? Yeah, sometimes we just forget about the behind the scene, how many hours that they put in for
Exactly.
practice to get this result, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's part of the podcast, right? That's part of like why I'm trying to highlight those moments, like because from the outside it always looks so simple, like, oh, there's the perfect family and there's the perfect job and blah blah blah. But like internally, like they did some work. Usually they had some struggles and they had to go through there and develop that mindset so that they can get where they are now. And it's not like I just woke up like this. It's really
Yeah.
takes the work. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so one more question I have is what motivates you to be better, do better, or like just kind of go the hard route? Because like so many people, right? They just kind of stay in their comfort zone. And you were one of those people that keeps on pushing and growing and going outside the comfort zone. So yes, what motivates you to do that, to go out there?
Yeah. I guess it's relates back to my personality, or I don't know if you trust horoscope, but so I'm a Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is an adventurous person. So yeah, I mean, like I've always really wanted to try new things, and sometimes I tend to get bored after doing a same thing over and over again.
Mhm.
And being adventurous, I think it's also something that I haven't like fulfilled myself when I was back in Malaysia. For example, not only like going out to travel, to try new things, but to push myself out there to present myself. So just now when I mentioned that, since moving over here to Sydney, I've I've been so much more confident in terms of presenting myself, my posture, and also in terms of speaking as well. So I think what pushed me to continue to have those motivation to do new things is like because I'm an adventurous person, so I always wanted to try things that I've never tried before.
Nice.
And yeah, I mean, like, no matter in what sense, right? No matter if it's traveling, going to new places, or like for now, we are doing this YouTube channel and podcast. It is scary. it is scary. But I think it's a good learning for me in terms of both personal and professional side of things, because in my workplace, I think I needed to be more confident, because when I first moved here, I wasn't as confident as now. Or maybe I'm not at 100% yet, but I would say I'm at 80%. And I guess doing these things like YouTube or podcast not only help me personally to be more confident and learning how to speak impromptuli and also improve myself in terms of communication skills as well at work.
Yeah.
So I think it's like all-rounder benefits for me. So yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like when you do, the more things you do, the more things you can handle, the more things you learn, you you feel like, you know, like you can handle more things, like you know, like you've learned this and you've learned that and you can do this, and it just kind of like fills you up, right? You're like, oh my gosh, like I can handle this, and I'm not too young, and I don't know just not enough, and things like that. You faced so many things and trials, and so your confidence grows, right? With you like stacking those things on top, and you
Yes.
know, like I've got this and I've got this and I've done this, like you know, you feel more you feel more confident. You've tackled so many things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also because just sharing my age here. So end of this year I'll be turning 30. And I feel like being 30 is a big thing. So, so it's
Oh
like
no, I just turned 40 this year. It's fine.
yeah, so I'm like, turning 30 is a big thing. I need to achieve something, you know.
Oh.
So it's like I'm squeezing so many things, or I have achieved so many things, particularly in this year. So I would say in the beginning of the year, it didn't start well. I was kind of at my lowest. And then so after quarter one, I've been traveling a lot. I did skydiving
Mm.
and I
Mm.
and I went hiking on Mount Kinabalu. So that's one of the highest mountain in Southeast Asia. So it's actually in Malaysia. So that's what close to 15,000 feet, close to. And then it took like 2 days and 1 night. And after that, I had my skydiving trip, which I have to jump down from 15,000 feet.
Oh gosh, you jumped from on top of a mountain. Wow.
No, it's a two different trip, but then
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
the altitude is quite similar.
Oh.
One of it is I hike up to that altitude, but the second one was I jump down from that altitude.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I think this is like the two highlights in this year for me. And also yeah, starting this speaking journey in having my own YouTube channel and podcast, I've never think about this. Like even when I first started the year, I didn't even think about like what am I gonna do in this year, because it wasn't a great start, I would say. But eventually it became better and better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this year I get to know a lot of people, especially people from I wouldn't say older, but more mature, like those are the 40s and 50s. And I gain a lot of wisdom from these people.
Mhm.
So I guess I needed them. I needed them for me to feel myself, or to fill the gap within myself, and trying to fulfill myself in the year of turning 30. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, I've had a lot of friends too that were a bit more scared or something, like, you know, instead of turning 28 or 29, that 30 somehow loomed, you know, and
Yeah,
made
because
it a
it's
bit.
the first number is different. The first
Oh, this is
instead
funny.
of instead of starting with a two, you start with a
Yes,
three.
yes, yes. But honestly, I've never felt like that. I never felt like, oh my God, this is the big 30. I need to, or whatever, or just, now it's 40. Like, what have I done? What have I achieved? Like, it's just, for me, it's like another birthday. And yes, I did celebrate it a bit more, but I mean, not really. Like, I didn't have a big party, but I went skydiving for my birthday, for example. That's what I did. And
How do you
yeah,
like
I
it?
just feel like I loved it. It was the best experience. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it was just something on my heart. Like, it was something I just, in the beginning of the year or even last year, I was like, okay, what do I want to do for my birthday? What is it that comes up, kind of thing? Do I want a party? Do I whatever? And yeah, for some reason that was what popped up in my head. And at first I was like, no, like, really, do I, like, and then it just kept on back. And I was like, oh, this is really something I want to do. So let's do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, my
Don't
husband wasn't
wait. Just do
excited.
it.
He was like, oh no, your birthday is like your last day, kind of thing. I was like, okay, that's not what I wanted to be. um so yes, no, but I signed up anyways, and I planned the trip. It was actually in Key West, down in Key West, which is one of the 10 most beautiful locations to jump out of. So people from all over the world come to
Oh,
Key West because it's such a beautiful area to see it from above. And it was really, truly, I mean, magical.
yeah.
And my daughter was like my biggest cheerleader. Like, I tried to explain, mommy's gonna do the sky jump and stuff, and I mean, she was the most excited. I have like video footage of her like, go,
Oh,
mommy,
cute.
go, mommy, go. And then, oh, mommy, you did it. I want to do it too when I'm 18. And I mean, right, she's turning 4 in a month. So I mean, it's just so beautiful, like, I mean, obviously I did it for me, but just seeing her, like, I was like, oh, this is such a good moment for me as a mom, like,
Yeah.
showing up
I guess
for
it's
myself.
also the best age. Best
Oh
age
yes.
of children to be cute and
Yes, no, but it's so powerful. And I mean, it really made me realize even more how many, like, because before, so I signed up for it, right? But the closer it came and I had to sign those waivers and all, right? Of course, there was a
yes.
bit of a doubt in there, like, oh man, I hope I didn't, I'm not gonna, I don't know, die, or like, I'm not gonna get hurt. And then I'm like looking back at this, like, why did I do this? Right?
Yeah.
And stuff. But I was like, no, like, I always went back to my heart. I was like, no, like, this is something I want to do. I want to experience. And they've never had an accident. Like, why should I, fear that and go into that? No. It's going to be awesome. I want to do it. I go into the trust. And it really, it opened me up. Like, even afterwards, I was like, how many times, have I shied back? How many times have I had fear stop me instead of going for it? And like, chase me out of the best experiences, because quite frankly, this was such a wonderful experience. Like seeing everything from above, facing my fear, really going through the whole process was like one of the best experiences of my life. And I've had so many already, but like, this was such a pivotal moment to really push me forward. And I think it's part of why the rest of my year also went like this.
Well,
Like, I think, yeah, this well, yeah, exactly. Because like, if
yeah.
you would have told me at the beginning of the year, like, I'm gonna have my podcast, I'm gonna have my channel, I'm gonna do all these things, like, I would have laughed
Yeah.
at you. Being an introvert myself, and always kind of like, I should show myself out there on camera and things. And now I'm here. Like, it's good. It's good to push those boundaries and
Yeah.
really follow your heart. What's on your heart, even if it doesn't make sense to anybody else. If that is something you want to do, just go for it.
Yeah. I think when the opportunity is already at your doorstep, just grab it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Don't
there for
care
a
about.
reason. It's always there for a reason. It's always there to, to help you grow, to push your boundary, to be more of what you currently are. Like, that's at least how I see it. It's always just there. Every challenge, every opportunity is just there to help. Another stepping stone of me, rising above, of me being better, of becoming more, of, experiencing life more fully. So I'm always there to take it. Even more so these days, right? Of course, it didn't start out this way, but I'm more
Yeah.
easily persuaded to look for the
Yeah.
positive in it and just kind of go for it and go with the flow.
Yes, go with the flow. I agree because yeah, I mean like you the more you plan it, the more it don't happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to go with the flow.
Yes. 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 How many times have you talked yourself out of things, right? Because you overplanned it and you're like, or like you're so focused on everything and it didn't go at all like the way you planned, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yes, I'm going in there with somewhat of a plan a lot of times, right? But like
Mhm.
a very loose plan.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to, go as it comes. It's just, yeah. Life has taught me. I am listening. Ah. So yes, one more question I have for you is, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned so far?
The biggest lesson is don't care about what people think of you.
Yes.
Yes, I feel like I've been caring of what other people think about me too much when I'm much younger, which makes me lose a lot of opportunity of doing things that I really wanted to do earlier in the days, like dancing. Why should I care what people think about how I dance? So yeah, I mean now it's still not too late. It's just that I could have picked up dancing earlier when I was back in secondary school, but because of afraid of those judgmental or what people think about me makes me miss out those opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. So
I think
yeah.
that's something, I mean, getting older now, right? But like, I think it's almost like a rite of passage. I feel like we all kind of start out as the more self-conscious and we don't know who we are yet fully, and we're kind of trying out different things and we are worried about how are we perceived and things like that. And I feel like it just comes with age that we're
Oh, yeah.
more so let's say more settled into who we are. We're more confident in who we are. We know ourselves better, and we realize that we don't need the approval. We don't need to care
Yes.
about what other people think. We just need to show up as who we truly are, and then let the chips fall as they may. Right? Like some people may like you and some people don't, but that doesn't that doesn't have an impact. It shouldn't have a big impact on how you see yourself, because you are you, and some people you are connecting with and some people maybe not, but that's okay. And I think I think it's just a learning thing, at least like like a rite of passage. As the older you get, the more you become into your own person, and the less you care. At least
Yeah.
that's also when I talk to other people, especially older, people as well. I'm like, oh yeah, I care less and less what other people say. I'm doing my own thing, and but I feel like it's just something that we grow into.
Yeah, that's right. And I hope that I can share my journey and all, I mean, my journey and also my feelings about, missing out in during the younger age, share this feeling or this journey of mine with the younger people so that they don't miss out on their own journey.
Yes, get to the realization faster,
Yeah.
right? That
Mm.
it's not important what other people say or think. But
Yeah.
I think with all the social media and people are like on their phone and on their screen and looking at how everybody is looking and what they're presenting themselves as, I think
Yeah.
some people get very intimidated about that too, right? Like, ooh, this looks so
Yes.
nice and shiny, and oh my God, I need to look nice and shiny too, instead of just kind of, okay, this is you and this is good for you, but I'm just going what I want to do and
Yeah.
focusing on me, I think
Mhm.
but it's just a lesson. It's another lesson that people need to learn on their own, right? But yes,
Yeah.
of course, being more transparent, having more authenticity out there instead of the fake,
Mhm.
like this is me and I woke up like this. Like I think we're counteracting this, right? We're putting things out there
Mhm.
that are more true for people
Yeah.
to kind of realize things sooner, and learn
Yeah.
those lessons. And yes, enjoy life. I mean, that's what it's all about. Really, like
Yes.
enjoy every
And
second.
do
You
what you
don't know
want
how
to
much
do.
time you have. So really just go out there and live it and have fun with it. And if it's not fun, change something, right? Like if it's
Yes.
like you don't have to be stuck with it being not a happy, you know, not being happy. Like if it's something where you're stuck at, like really evaluating how can I change that around, right? What do I want more of? I want more happiness. I don't want to be so stressed out. I don't want to be like this. Go out there and figure it out, like change something, make it different. So because we're here to have a good time too.
Yes.
So.
Life is short. Don't wait.
Yes.
So I have a video on that.
What is something that you're working on now that
Mhm.
you might want people to know about or
Well, this is our journey.
yeah.
So currently we already have our YouTube channel and podcast channel. So the next thing is to do a workshop or a course. So what I'm focusing right now is actually to build. I want to share my journey.
Mhm.
I want to share my journey of how I became more confident. I wouldn't say I'm the expert of, confidence, but I just want to share my journey and help those younger people to become more confident of themselves.
Right.
So
Others who
I
are just
wanted to do,
starting out.
hmm,
Others who are
I
just
want,
starting.
pardon?
I'm sorry. You want to help others who are just starting out. Sorry.
Yeah, yes. Not only starting out, but if let's say they just need a boost of confidence or
Right.
things like that. We are here together to be better version of ourselves, right?
Yes.
So what I wanted to do is actually, I haven't finalized it yet, but I'm thinking of doing like a 3-month course or no, not course, but 3-month program. So sharing about some tips to be more confident and hopefully to do some in-person activity as well. So at the same time, we can, build up that connection and also try to force ourselves to put ourselves out there in real life, to talk to strangers and tackle things that we don't used to don't use or we are afraid to do, right? And then we can do it as a group or yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I haven't finalized yet, but this is the rough concept of what I wanted to do
Wow,
to
that
help
sounds
people boost their
amazing.
confidence.
Yes. Help people boost their confidence. And how many people need that, right? I mean, I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't have, I wouldn't do that. I don't have the confidence. I wouldn't go out there. Right. So I think that's a really good topic for people, right? It's a
Yeah.
pain point that people have.
Mm.
So yes, I'm sure people would love to, get into that. So what is like a good way for our listeners to connect with you if they're interested, for example, in a program or just kind of, hearing more about you, connecting with you? What's the best way to reach you, connect with you?
Oh, well, I have a few social media platforms. I do have my Instagram. I'll share the link with you so you can put into the description.
Yes.
I do have my YouTube channel where I'll share some videos, like short videos on how, tips on how to boost your confidence or how to speak more confidently or how to enjoy your own company. So these are the little things that you can, implement daily by yourself to improve yourself or put yourself out there step by step, little by little. Yeah, you try to improve yourself.
Yeah.
And also I will have my podcast channel as well. But on the podcast channel, I'm getting in other guest speaker to share about their journey in terms of their personal development in a broader perspective. So not only focusing on, boosting your confidence, but knowing their journey of how they or things that they are building on, like for example building their own business or people that just moved to a new country. So it's a personal development kind of topic, but on a broader perspective. Yeah.
Yes. Wow, that sounds wonderful. So yes, it will be all down in the show notes in the description if anybody wants to give it a listen
Yes.
or follow Estee a bit more. Well, thank you so very much for being on the show today. It was so nice
Yeah.
talking with you. I've learned so
Yeah.
much. It's
Thank
really
you for
nice getting
having
to
me
know you
here,
better.
Sandy.
Yes, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Really, really good to have you.
Thank you.